thing? Why are you here?
I'm here because I am lucky enough to have taken over Edgelit, the genre fiction festival in Derby. So I'm here to talk about that a little bit and have some fun.
Well, we can guarantee the latter, definitely.
Good.
Well, what do you think? It's been 3 years since the last Edgelit, and a lot has happened.
Yes.
A lot.
I mean, some things I've heard.
Minor understatement.
So for all of us who don't know what's happened, what happened, because obviously Edgelit was run by, name completely escapes me.
Alex Davis.
Yeah, Alex Davis, yeah. And then it wasn't. So what happened there, and what made you sort of kind of take it over?
Well, like everything, basically, it stopped because of COVID. And then during that period, Alex, who was working for Quad, left Quad, which is the venue the festival's held at. And so it just kind of ended. I think there was a lot of upset online. And it was such a shame. I mean, nobody really wanted to see it go, and it just went because it wasn't really a full-time job for anyone, and they didn't want to hire somebody just to do it because it wasn't viable.
And then
so it was cancelled and resigned to the history books.
Now, as I understand it, Alex was the literature officer at Quad, so essentially that role hasn't been replaced. It's just gone completely.
I believe so. I mean, that's a question for Alex, but I just know that it was after he moved on. He didn't take Edgelit with him, and it couldn't stay at Quad as it was.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, they made the decision to cancel it, but not anymore.
Yeah. So how did you get involved? And I mean, what did Quad reach out to you, or did you reach out to Quad, or was it something else?
I mean, if I'm going to be completely honest, I read the notification that Edgelit was cancelled for the foreseeable whilst I was in the pub, and I was a few beers in, so I emailed Quad and was like, I'll do it. And then genuinely about 8 months later, Adam from Quad got back to me and was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I forgot to reply to this. Yes, please.
Okay.
And it was really good timing because I'd just been made unemployed, so I had a little bit more time to go in and chat to Alex and Adam and stuff. And yeah, it was always my favourite festival. I always used to. I lived in Derby for 10 years, and then when I moved away, it's probably a very convoluted story. I got to know a lot of the authors who would take part at Edgelit. While I was living in Bath, and then I moved to London, and then when I moved back to Derby was when they cancelled Edgelit, and I said, well, I'm here now. So it was alcohol fueled, but I'm glad I did it.
There sounds almost an element of synchronicity there, because as I recall, I mean, before Edgelit there was alt fiction, and that was very much came up with the idea in a pub. Let's do a writers' festival in the East Midlands.
I think a lot of genre writers spend a lot of time in pubs, so I think.
Don't know what you're talking about there.
Do you write yourself?
I do a little bit, yeah. I've just been to Capital Crime Festival in London, and they had a section there called Pitch to an Agent, and I thought, go on then, why not? And that went really successful, so it's kind of inspired me a little bit to finally sit down and finish that novel that's been floating around for a bit.
What's the novel about, if you don't mind us asking?
It's a time travel murder mystery.
Oh, interesting.
I said that to Alexandra Benedict once, and she's like, oh yeah, my first book was a time travel murder mystery. I was like, really? There's no novel ideas anymore, is there?
Well, there is that saying that there's only ever 7 stories or something like that. Isn't there?
Yeah. I've got the book somewhere, the 7 plots book. So.
That's it. Yes.
Yeah, maybe it's and also they they come in trends, don't they? Like the Girl on the Train and Gone Girl and stuff. We'll probably just have a time travel murder mystery thing going on.
But also it's like we all have our own interpretation and our kind of texture to the writing. I mean, no book is ever the same.
No, that's true. Yeah, I mean, this one is the one in my head is it's very magical realism. There's very little science, it's just kind of taken as read. It's a suspension of disbelief, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, there's some writers that really kind of delve deep into science. I mean, Peter F. Hamilton, you read one of his books, and by the end of it, you know how to build a spaceship.
Yeah, basically.
They're fantastic books, but like I lent it to a friend at work, and he came out with this massively boggled eye, going, "Okay, I now know quantum engineering."
Yeah, I always think it's a good sign if you have to learn quantum engineering to understand a book.
Yeah, that should be like, you have to have a certain PhD just to be able to understand the introduction.
Yeah. No, there's none of that with me. It's all very, very accidental, quite stately home murder mystery kind of thing, but just with a modern protagonist.
It's almost like a cozy mystery, like a murder in a country house, but with time travel.
Yeah, basically. So you can have the protagonist can use modern science, but like my favorite thing, I always used to love those episodes of CSI where they get stuck somewhere without their kit bags and have to use like sellotape and talcum powder and stuff. I wanted to do something like that where she has the knowledge but she doesn't have the equipment and that kind of thing.
It's like in the A-Team. The A-Team always got stranded somewhere, and it was always in like a shed where there was a welding torch. And
just so happens to be a welding torch.
Oh my god,
there.
there's an abandoned APC here, and we can weld stuff to it and make it into something. And I just love that they just that's so lucky. You
find yourself Googling, can you make luminol out of household equipment?
And the GCHQ take a lot of interest in that.
The what, sorry?
GCHQ take a lot of interest in that.
Yes. Yeah. Oh God, yeah. At least it's luminol and not like explosive devices or something.
I know GCHQ will data mine me. I know that. I've written about them in the past. There's Computer Weekly and the BBC. Yeah, they know where I live.
They've got you, Pete.
Yeah. I asked for a few years ago. I was asking for I contacted them asking for an interview, like in regards to an article, just for comment, and said, "Okay, yeah," and said, "Don't worry, Mr. Charleston, we'll get in touch with you." And thinking, I didn't tell you my name or any of my contact details.
Yeah, they know how to find you.
Oh yeah.
No, I have to say, as much as there's a lot of this sort of they are watching sort of thing. I don't think the government is as smart as sort of people make them out to be sometimes. Some of these sort of really crazy, the sort of crazy conspiracy theories that they're putting stuff in the water and they're chipping things and they're doing all this other stuff, and I was like, I can't even get a budget right. How are they supposed to get how are they supposed to be doing crazy, mad, complicated stuff like tracking every single person because he wrote something silly on Facebook? And it's just like
well, chips in vaccines and stuff.
Yes.
Oh no! I did an article about vaccines for the BBC in late 2020, looking at vaccine research and manufacture, and the emails I got, some really crazy. I mean, I found out that a person nearby believed in the chips in vaccines, and I said, "Listen, if the government wanted to track you, they would use this."
Yeah, I mean, you literally got a tracking device in your pocket.
Yeah.
I said that there was one of my mates. I can't remember what it was about. He wouldn't. What was it? It was about getting vaccinated, and I think it was like he wouldn't download the NHS app, and I was just like, why? Because they'll track us. They'll track us through the app, and I was like, mate, you've got a tracking system right here. You've got a phone. If they want to know where you are, they already do because you've got a phone. That's it.
Yeah. And anyway, I think what's slightly off topic here, as I want to do, to be fair. Right. So you came in
to
Reglet, Now, is this going to be like a fresh start for Edgelit? Completely refresh?
No, we're kind of sticking with the true and tested formula for next year, purely because after being unemployed, I then got 2 jobs, and so so everything's a little bit hectic at the moment. And as much as I kind of want to inject a bit more of myself into it, I want to get it over the finish line first. So I think next year we're just going to stick to what we're good at, and then 2024, all goes well, it will be the 10th anniversary. So there was talk of maybe doing a 2-day festival and kind of expanding it a little bit more. I'd like to get some more crime involved. I think I'd like to kind of expand from horror, because it's bleeding over into kind of thriller territory now, isn't it? With like Cat Ward and Sarah Pinborough and stuff. It's there's a lot of horror crime crossover, so it'd be really nice to kind of expand on that. I think one thing I have done for next year is bring a bit more art into it. So I've got a few fantasy artists. Ooh. And all being well, fingers crossed.
Yeah. So can you announce any guests so far that you have got planned for Edgelit?
Yeah, I mean, we've got the usual suspects. We've got Stephen Volk, Alexandra Benedict, Cat Ward, Rob Shearman, Tim Leben, Adrian Tchaikovsky.
Oh, excellent.
Good old Adrian, been on the podcast a few times.
I think the one I'm most excited about, I mean, don't tell the others, is that Christopher Priest is launching his new book. So he's quite he's just such a legend that I'm very excited about that. And he actually requested to come, so that was terrifying. Nice. So yeah, he'll be launching his new book there, and then we've got a few other people waiting for confirmation, but I think we should have some great panels.
Excellent. Yeah, because I mean, I've always enjoyed going to Edgelit. I mean, like I say, it's literally down the road from me, so it'd be rude not to go. And it's more, I find it's more just kind of less of a work event in the sense of more just kind of a chance to meet other writers in their field and talk shop and relax.
And have a pint.
And have a pint.
It's that thing about being in the bar again. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I always come back from it being really inspired and really kind of, right, I'm going to finish that book. I'm going to get it out there.
I think that's always been the reason I've gone. I really only read I read horror, and obviously I read Stephen King and stuff, but there's just so much. Everybody there has so much output and so much stuff to read that I just kind of come away from it thinking, right, I'm going to read that, and these people are all amazing, and they all it inspires me as a writer. You know, they all make their living doing what they love, and they're all so nice, and I just want to be like them. I guess that's how I got into it in the first place.
Very much. Yeah, I mean, and you have so many fantastic memories. I mean, I remember one time having a beer with Charlie Stross. And basically ended up on a pub quiz team with him. And just amazing. That would never happen at any other event. I mean, I could not imagine that happening at FantasyCon.
No, it's very, I think it's because it's so small, and there's no green room, there's no hotel, it's not in a hotel, so people aren't disappearing to their rooms. It's literally just everybody is in one space at one time and drinking and buying raffle tickets.
Speaking of raffle tickets, because Sarah Primborough's legendary raffles there, is she still the what was it?
The patron.
Patron, thank you.
Yes, she is. She is still a patron. I'm trying to get her. She's proving. I think she's writing, and she tends to kind of disappear off of socials while she's writing and stuff. So hopefully Alex will be able to get hold of her, and we can have another legendary raffle.
So is Alex still a part of it? Is he still helping out? Or?
He's kind of mentoring me. He's being really, really great, really helpful, just kind of letting me know the kind of things that I should have done by a certain point and just keeping me on track. He obviously introduced me to all of his publishing contacts and stuff when he left, did like a little intro, so I'd know who to approach and that. So he's been great.
So it's almost like that's like a transfer of power, so to speak. Like
the kingdom is mine.
I sit on the throne now. I wield the Darksaber, thank you. But I guess it's like taking over any job, isn't it? You know, he's basically training the newbie. So, but he's super useful. He's always at the end of an email.
Oh, excellent. Oh yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And like, and so you're going to have like fancy artists as well, possibly?
Yeah, a good friend of mine is a cover illustrator, and so he was on Landscape Artist of the Year as well. So he's going to come and do a panel, do a workshop as well.
Oh, wow.
And we're hoping, don't know if you know the Derby artist Carl Kopinski. He's illustrated Magic the Gathering and does a lot of tabletop board games and stuff.
Oh.
He's
what's his name? I'm going to have to Google him now, because I've probably seen his.
Carl Kopinski, 2 Ks, Karl Kopinski. But he has cancer at the moment, so it depends on how his treatment goes.
Oh,
but
shit.
he's desperate to come.
Oh my god, he's done Warhammer stuff as well.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He's brilliant.
All right, yeah.
If you follow him on Instagram, he's ambidextrous and he films himself like drawing with 2 hands, like a mirror image of it's astounding.
Because I know some of these pieces. I know some of these art pieces and stuff. That's insane.
So
wow.
he's desperate to be there. So it just depends. Like if he's in a gap in treatment, he'll be there basically.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, it'd be great to see some of his artwork.
Yeah, and I can't. My friend Jen, who actually works for Quad, is helping to illustrate the brochure. You know, the program that the guests will get. So she does the kind of Sailor Jerry's kind of, but lots of tentacles and decapitations and that kind of thing.
Always better with tentacles than decapitation.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, everything's better with a little bit of decapitation.
I'm just looking at some of his stuff and I was like, oh my god, that's like, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
No, he's fantastic and he's such a nice guy. And like I say, he said that he really, really, really wants to be there. And obviously he lives just outside Derby as well. So
nice.
He's
Let's
really
get him on the podcast sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, yeah.
So, I mean, how much of your time has been taken up with prepping for EdgeLit? I mean, I've spoken to Alex before, and as I understand it, when he finishes, one EdgeLit, he then starts prepping the next for the next year, so the very next day.
Wow. Well, as I say, my day job has been insanity over the past few weeks. I think, and I travel a lot for work. And I travel a lot because when I got made unemployed, I thought, I've got loads of time. I'm going to buy tickets to that and that and that. And then obviously got a job like 5 days later. And I'm now I think I worked it out that the last week of November is the first week that I have at home for more than 2 days, that kind of thing. So it's all done on trains and in hotel rooms. And but we're getting there. I mean, we're on, timings wise, we're on track, and I think it's just going to really ramp up in the new year when we get down to the kind of logistics of it and stuff. So at the moment it's the fun stuff like the choosing the guests and approaching them, and got a meeting with Waterstones this week to talk about the point of sale and stuff. So it's the easy fun stuff at the moment, and then it's going to go crazy.
Yeah, it's the networking and scheduling now. Then because I remember a few times when Alex was prepping for EdgeLit, I'd get a call from him going, "Do you still have a car, Pete?" He goes, "Yeah." Said, "Could you give me a lift?" "Yeah, sure." And 6 crates of books.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't want them in the house anymore. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
So, what do you do for a living anyway?
I do copy and editorial and stuff for a few cycling-based companies, because my background is I was a cycling journalist for a long time. So I kind of moved out of print media and into social media for a few companies. So yeah, mainly copywriting, blog posts, editorial stuff. but lots of it.
And 2 on the go at the same time.
Yes, two part-time jobs on the go at the same time, which means I'm working like 60-hour weeks.
God.
That's hardcore. That is absolute hardcore.
But at least I have Edgelit for the fun side of things.
Yeah. God. Yeah. So I mean, at what stage do you think it's going to start ramping up for you, like on a commitment level?
I think, well, both my jobs are contracted till January 1st. So that is when I know, that's kind of a point in my mind where I'm like, well, I can concentrate on Edgelit from January 1st, which will time perfectly, because obviously then there's 6 months and it's just a nice little round number to just start really firing up and getting all the little minor details done. I'm quite a planner anyway. I like planning things, so it'll hopefully be quite fun as well as quite hard work.
Have you got a list made out yet of things you need to do?
I've got the list that Alex gave me the first meeting we had, which is like, so in this month you need to kind of be looking at this, and at this month you need to be looking at this. These are the things that are going to cost the most money, so price those up first. And so I have something like that, but genuinely at the moment it's all quite nebulous. And
oh, look at that word, nebulous. Awesome. You can tell you're a writer. There you go. It's like Pete. He comes flying off with all these really like big words, and I'm like, my God. You can tell he's a journalist.
I cannot help being verbose and eloquent.
Yeah. Here's a thesaurus. I thought I was quite verbally. What's the word? Yeah, there you go. I can't even do English now. I can't even do words. I can't do
big words.
I can't do big words anymore. Yeah, and then Pete came along and he's throwing out these massive long words in proper sentences, and I'm just like, what? What's going on?
Just Googling.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife clearly tells me off for that. Like, don't be, just say yes. Yes is suffice. You don't see any more than yes.
Most definitely.
Indeed. Indubitably.
Indubitably.
Indeed. Has COVID had any impact on the Edgelit going forward?
I tell you what it has done. It has made a lot more people up for going. I was talking to a guy called Adam Simcox, who's a author. Great, he's going to be one of the guests next year. And I was just chatting to him at Capital Crime, and he was just saying he just can't wait. He just wants to go to every event ever, because he just misses people and he misses literature events and stuff. So I think it is helping in that respect that, people haven't done conventions or festivals or anything for 3 years, 2 years, 3 years. So
yeah, going on for 3 years, isn't it?
I think it's kind of opened people up to being like, yeah, all right, yes, please. So I mean, that's a positive side effect. But I only really took over the role about April time, so it's not really, I've not seen any of the fallout of COVID, other than obviously the fact that the festival didn't happen for 3 years. So I think 2019 was the last one.
That's right. Yeah, there was one in the Sledge Dit, the Christmas.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And end of November 2019. But that was a very muted. That was a very much a small scale version of Edgelit.
Yeah.
And then, we look forward to next year's Edgelit.
Yeah. No.
No, but yeah, it's. I mean, obviously the quad would have got hammered by COVID in terms of because it had to close and all that. But has the quad had to change at all because of COVID and more accurately post-COVID? Well,
again, as I say, I only moved back to Derby in December, so all of my lockdown was spent in East Molesey near Hampton Court Palace. So I spent lockdown there because my husband was working in London. So I don't really know how quad was affected, but it was so good to get back to Derby and to go to Quad and just see it like flourishing. It's just it's not a miracle that it survived COVID, but it's just fantastic
Lucky
that it
yeah,
did.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of places that have closed down or like either during or shortly after because they just couldn't.
Carry on. And it's such a big building, and I don't know. I know it's a charity, so I don't know whether that affects it in any way.
Yeah.
But it's just it's such an iconic building now in the centre of Derby that if it wasn't Quad, it's almost like you hate to think what it would be.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else like it really in the area, to be fair.
No, I mean, I suppose there's like Broadway in Nottingham, as far as a lovely independent cinema goes, but that's been there for decades, so it's so well established.
Yeah, but that's only just does independent cinema. I mean, like something like Quad, where it does everything. Like, it has like a literature events. It has like a Doctor Who event. It has like a Tomb Raider event.
Yeah. I was hoping to go to the Tomb Raider event and try and pinch some of the guests because I really wanted to do a computer games panel.
Actually, I know one of the PR people from Tomb Raider.
Ooh.
Turns out my kids went to the same school as their kids.
Oh wow!
And it's like I saw their name on the Tomb Raider panelist and going, I didn't know you worked on Tomb Raider. Yeah. You didn't tell me this for 10 years.
That's amazing.
You never thought to tell me this after knowing me for 10 years. I'm a gaming nerd. That, oh, by the way, I worked on Tomb Raider. I'm like, yes.
my ex-boyfriend in my late teens, early 20s worked at IDOS, and that was the first thing he told people. So she must have other things going on in her life if that's like that low down in the.
Ian Livingstone had something to do with Tomb Raider, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He owned IDOS.
Yeah. He was behind IOTS.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I was at this many years ago. I was at this talk by Sir Ian. Now Sir Ian. I love the fact he's literally knighted now. So
yeah.
But I was at this talk about his life and career in Sheffield at the Showcase Cinema. And he's talking about it, how gaming became important to him, and how how he created Lara Croft. And just at the end, where there was this a Q&A session, this man stood up and started having a go at Sir Ian, because how games were violent, and how they were dehumanizing people, and how they're glorifying sex and violence. And turns out the guy was a Quaker.
Okay.
And it was literally the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
I'm like, has he ever played Animal Crossing?
It was
thinking there's sex and violence in all games.
I know, and that's the thing. And they go, and I think Shane was quite taken back by that. Well, just let me explain and let me answer. But the guy just kept ranting and raving. In the end, he had to be escorted out. And then actually recorded the entire conversation as the good journalist that I am. And then I included it all transcripted in an essay I wrote about the Satanic Panic and and how gamers have now become a positive and therapeutic hobby.
Yeah.
And it's like, right, okay, yeah, it's still there. Like Exhibit A, that. And it's like, credit where credit is due. Sheffield Quakers. They won't like me, but hey ho, I don't like that guy. But yeah, he really is an absolutely fantastic guy. If you ever get a chance to see him speak or give a talk,
I met him very briefly through Martin, because he went way back with him, but never would love to go and see him talk.
Yeah, invite him to Edgelit.
I was actually thinking that. I was tempted.
Well, you've got to think he created the fighting fantasy.
I know. It's in or Steve Jackson. They'd both be grand.
Yeah,
he's a lovely guy. We met him at
UK Games Expo.
UK Games Expo and stuff. Really nice, you know.
Yeah, and like he's always happy to chat, to speak to fans, and like to be interviewed by random people coming up with video cameras and lighting equipment. And go, "Hi, can we have an interview?" He said, "Yep."
Yeah.
I think I've got a chat with Alex coming up, so I'll just say, how many guests of honor is too many guests of honor? We'll see.
Because if you can get Sir Ian, I would be way up for. I mean, the guy is. It's often said he's the grandfather of gaming in the UK, because if it wasn't him, there'd be no Games Workshop. Without Games Workshop, there wouldn't be D&D in the UK, because Games Workshop unlicensed distributors in the UK. Tomb Raider, IDOS, Fighting Fantasy, his list is an accolade of achievements.
Yeah, he's fab, and he does seem a really nice guy. As I say, I did think about inviting him. I think when I was thinking about a computer games panel, he was like in my brain for it, but I didn't do it for some reason. So I might chase it up now. I might
What's your obviously, if you're into your gaming and stuff, what's your console of choice, or are you PC master race?
No, I have a gaming laptop. I have a PC laptop that I only use for gaming because it's huge, so I'm not going to carry it around with me for work. I don't know, maybe just like PS4 probably. PS3 is the one that still gets played the most because it's got my Skyrim save files on it.
Oh, okay.
So.
I've just introduced Skyrim to my eldest two kiddies, and bless them, my eldest son, who is 11. So we keep him away from the really scary stuff, obviously, like the blood-based stuff. But he said, "Yeah, I've played Skyrim. I'm really far into it." Going, "No, you're not. You played it for an hour. Trust me, you're not really far into it. When you played it for 300 hours, then I might think."
I was going to say, come back when you've got over 200 hours on it.
Then you're far into it.
Yeah, I need to stay away from games like that and stuff. Like, I had a massive World of Warcraft addiction when it, not when it first came out, but pretty close on, and I was on that for way too long, and got to a point where I had to physically stop myself from playing it. So I have this thing about games that, like MMOs or games that have, will take too much of your life away from you, because I felt like I've been there, I can't go back anymore. So I can't do it. I played Skyrim, but like as soon as I started getting too sucked into it, I was like, I need to stop this now. I need to stop now. So I did. I stopped.
It's one of those things that I don't pick it up for months, and then I pick it up and I've lost 6 hours.
Yeah. I pick it up and then go, what was I doing? Where am I going?
Yeah. Genuinely, like, I'm doing this quest. Where is it? And like parts of it that I've just given up on. I'm never going to find all of those stones, and I'm never going to find all the red Nirn root. I've given up on that. I accept it. I've moved on.
Yeah.
So is that the game? What is that your go-to game, or what do you play most regularly?
I play the Switch quite a lot, just because I play it in bed sometimes. If my husband's asleep, so I don't have the light on reading, I'll be on the Switch with the lights off. So I play Animal Crossing a lot. Pokemon. Sadly, like really nerdy stuff like Picross, the image puzzle, logic puzzle. Obsessed with those. What have I been playing recently? Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. That was the last game I actually sat and completed. So
what did you think of that one?
I really liked it. I know it got kind of got mixed reviews, didn't it? And I genuinely squealed when BD1 turned up in Book of Boba Fett. Yeah. I got the Lego BD1 on my shelf.
Oh, nice.
I had sort of mixed feelings about it. It's like I just don't know. I didn't get it. I played it, but I just couldn't get into it for some reason. It wasn't really anything that sort of kind of gripped me. And I just got bored of it quite easily and stuff. I don't know what it was. A load of people are saying it's amazing, and I was just like, I couldn't get into it. And I love my Star Wars, so I just couldn't get into it.
I think the plot's great, but I think the gameplay of it is quite light. You don't get kind of drawn into it. it almost felt like there was no peril.
Yeah.
And it was quite easy, I thought.
Yeah, it had sort of kind of, in my mind, it was going to be kind of like, I was kind of hoping it would be like The Force Unleashed, those games and stuff where, you can do a lot more with your force powers and stuff like that. But it seemed more of a puzzler, sort of a la like Tomb Raider and stuff like that, which is
That's
fine.
That's probably why I loved it.
I'm not a massive fan of puzzle games and stuff, to be fair. So when I got it, and I was like, wait, so I want to grab loads of sort of stormtroopers and throw them against the wall and sort of kind of do all this stuff. I know you can kind of do some of that stuff, but
you can throw them off the ledges. That's always fun.
Yeah, but it was just like, it just didn't really. It was a good looking game, and I've seen some of the YouTube videos on the story, and the story obviously seemed quite good, but it didn't grip me enough to sort of carry on playing it and stuff. So
I think they absolutely nailed the lightsaber combat. I mean, this is the first Star Wars game I played where I feel like, it's in a real lightsaber duel. But I think the force powers were kind of diminished somewhat, so you have to focus on using the lightsaber.
Yeah. I did like chucking it at people. That's my best bit. Just chuck a lightsaber at someone.
Have it!
No, I like to push them off cliffs, like push someone back and go, right, you can go off that cliff, you can go off that cliff, and that fight was easy.
I just replayed Knights of the Old Republic as well. And they are so good.
They're redoing, I think they're remastering them, I think, at the minute.
I did hear tell. I heard tell that they were doing that, and then it kind of went quiet, so I just replayed them.
Yeah. The story is just fantastic.
I quite liked, like, as much as I sort of kind of try to stay away from MMORPGs, I played the Old Republic Star Wars game, and I was actually able to play it, get through the whole story, because it had a fixed storyline. And so I felt like, because it was BioWare, it had that sort of kind of storyline, and I was able to stop after my part of the story finished. Now, I think I got to level 50. My story finished. There was no expansions at that time, and I was like, okay, I can go now. But I quite enjoyed that because because you had companions and things like that, and there's your interaction with them. It sort of kind of ingratiated you into it, and I quite liked that and stuff. I've always quite liked like the Dragon Age games and stuff like that, where there's those interaction with the characters and stuff. But yeah, it was one of the last MMOs I think I played.
Last one you allowed yourself to delve into.
I can't go near this stuff. I'm just too. Now I think it's partially because I've got way too many hobbies, and so it's just too hard for me to sort of not get distracted by something. But yeah, partially it is this sort of kind of back end sort of thing in my brain going, don't do it. Don't do it. You'll get sucked in. I was like, all right.
You've got a little devil and an angel.
Yeah,
one's just saying, play it. You know you love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Part of me, like, I miss, like, I generally play, like, me and my brother play Age of Empires 4 a lot and stuff like that, and he beats me quite regularly. But, we play strategy games and things a lot. But I do kind of miss the days where you get to sit down and play an MMO and stuff and sort of, do that sort of thing. But I just can't seem to get myself into a place to do that.
And then modern life came along with its jobs.
Yeah, jobs and
day lives and families and wives, husbands and children.
Yeah.
And suddenly the kids have now played games more than I do, which I feel is distinctly unfair.
I collect old consoles, so I do like to just sometimes sit down and play something old, because you can just dip in and out of them and stuff.
Have you ever been to Arcade Club in Bury, or there's one in Blackpool now, I think. Have you ever been to those?
No.
Right, so basically you got this place, and they've just opened one in Blackpool. There's one in Bury. There's actually one called N64 in centre of Manchester too now, it's expensive. It's got old school games, but it's expensive. But the one in Bury, you pay a tenner, you get 3 floors of gaming from new to like super old school old. and there's 3 floors of them. All the arcades that you would have grown up on are in there. All the old school consoles, all the old school games and stuff like that, they're all in there, and you play all these sort of kind of games, and you're just like, this is this like pure nostalgia. Like some of those games which you thought were amazing when you were a kid are garbage. Absolute garbage. Yeah. You're just like, there's no skill involved in this whatsoever. I could literally just sit here and press this button and it would just be the amount of lives that I can get. It's because they were obviously designed to make you spend your money and stuff. Like I was playing the Turtles game and I was sitting there kind of going, there's no skill involved in this game whatsoever. It's literally just me button bashing and doing that. But some of them, you know, still have their charm. Some of them are literally just they are dog shit and stuff. They're just not as good as you remember them when you were a kid. But you know, there's some of them that do have that edge. And even just being in that place where you literally have 3 floors of all these old school games, literally from early 80s all the way up to sort of kind of your modern arcade machines and stuff. It's just, you know, it's a really good experience. And it's only a tenner, and you get to play every game for free. And there's hundreds of them. It's an amazing.
That's cool.
It really is, and they do food and stuff like that, and it's really good.
What consoles do you have, by the way, Holly?
Oh, I've got an Atari 2600.
Oh wow!
I've got Mega Drive, Master System, Game Gear. Got 2 Game Boys.
Sega. Yes.
I've got the Pokemon, the Pikachu Limited Edition N64, which is lovely. GameCube. NES, and then probably PlayStation 2 onwards. I think that's it. I think the only thing I don't have is a Spectrum or an Xbox.
Oh.
So they're next on my list.
Yeah,
I had an old school Spectrum when I was a kid, and I sunk way too many hours into it.
Yeah, we had.
But I did learn to code, which is cool.
We had like we were Sega when the Sega Nintendo wars were going on in the sort of kind of like early 90s and stuff. Like my family, it was Sega, so we
were Sega, yeah.
It was all about Sega and stuff. So we had like the Mega Drive, the Master System Mega Drive, Mega CD, 32X when they sort of those.
Oh yeah,
things.
I've got the Mega CD as well.
Yeah, Mega CD, 32X and stuff. Like it was all about the Sega and stuff. It was very bittersweet. We didn't go as far as Sega Saturn because I can't remember what happened. I think we sort of. I can't remember. Oh, that's right. My dad got a PC at that time and stuff, so we kind of, you know, PC was the new thing that we sort of kind of did. But yeah, we had the Mega Drive and stuff, and I don't have any of the old stuff, so I went back and I've got like an old school like retro Pi in the shape of a Mega Drive. I've also got one of the a retro Pi in the shape of a SNES as well and stuff. And it's got all the old school games and stuff on it. Again, some of them are pants, but it's just cool. I've got that little Mega Drive looking thing with all the old school Mega Drive games on it, and then I've got one for all the Nintendo stuff. And yeah, it's loads of fun. Really good.
But you missed that thing of like having to blow in your cartridge.
Yeah,
you do. That's the thing you miss.
Bring it out. It's like, how do you fix it? You just blow in it. That's it. I still do it. Like today, my computer, like I've got this really expensive computer I've had for like 4 years now, and it's starting to sort of kind of go, oh, I might not work as well anymore. So what did I do? blow
switch it off and switch it back on again and blow in it.
Yeah, exactly. Turned it off and on again, and I blew on it, and it turned on. So there you go. The blowing.
And then you'd reach the end of your IT knowledge.
Yeah, that's it. Did you blow it? It's like if you did support for these sort of things. Yeah. So have you turned it on and off again? Yes. Okay. Did you blow in the cartridge? Oh no, there you go. That's what it is.
That's what it was.
That was it. You're gonna blow in the cartridge. Yeah.
Are these are your consoles of recent acquisitions, or something you've kept from when you were first got them?
A few of them. The Game Gear is from when I first had it.
Oh wow.
I think everything else has been recent. Well, 10, 15 years ago, recent acquisitions. But I had most of them. My dad took me to get a Mega Drive when I was on my 10th birthday, I think, or something like that. Oh, wow. So I did have a few of them growing up, but we were a Sega family, so it was nice to finally get like my own N64 and stuff.
Yeah.
GoldenEye and Mario Kart. You know, what more do you need?
I sucked at GoldenEye.
I think everybody did.
Did you have the, like, because I had a Game Gear, And did you have the TV tuner you could get for it and stuff? You could stick a TV tuner in it.
I didn't have the TV tuner. I had the magnifying screen,
Oh, yeah.
because the screen was so small.
I remember, like, I remember, like, back in the day having the Game Gear, and like me and my friend Russell, there used to be like shops that you could go and you could rent games and stuff. Like, you don't do this anymore, but like you used to have these shops you could go and rent games. So we'd go to his house and then we'd go to this shop and we'd rent games for our Game Gears and stuff. You know, like just like playing Predator 2 and sort of like Afterburner and things like that on it, and Sonic and shit. And we're just like, oh yeah, this is great. And just sit there on our Game Gears playing away and stuff, you know.
I was just such a nerd that the only game I really remember playing on the Game Gear is the Lillehammer Winter Olympics from like 1994.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with the ski jump.
Yeah, I remember that game. Yeah, I just like Sonic was a massive thing. Like we used to play Sonic all the time, but there was, what was the other one we used to play quite regularly? I've got it in my head and I can't sort of think of the name of it. Oh, it's gotta go. I'll find out at some point in time. But yeah, if you ever get a chance to go to Bury, I'm not, you know, it's probably.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah. I was just thinking of like places like Barcade in the States. There's a couple of bars in New York called Barcade. There's one in LA, and it's just such a good idea. Like, get people drunk and let them play
There's
arcade games.
also the National Video Game Museum in Sheffield.
Yeah. Oh, there's also.
Yes, there used to be something like that in Nottingham, didn't
Yeah,
there?
it moved from Nottingham to Sheffield.
Right. Okay. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. They also. Sorry, Pete. Carry on.
And yeah, it's just like basically a collection of games from like 80s all the way through to now. And it shows like the evolution of graphics, playability, and also like interaction, like how you interact with the games from the different consoles and joysticks and to full motion control with like, you know, the Kinect. And you begin there, you pay £10 and you get 3 hours to play on as many games as you want for free.
Yeah. It's like Play Expo, because there was a thing we used to do quite regularly, thing called Play Expo. Now it's not been in Manchester since basically COVID and stuff. But we used to go and exhibit there for Geek Pride quite regularly and stuff, and it was amazing because it was like, again, an entire convention dedicated to every sort of gaming system, from old school to sort of kind of homemade to sort of newer stuff. And such a good convention, like one of my favorites and stuff. They've moved it to Blackpool. I think it's in Blackpool this weekend, actually, possibly. Yeah, really good convention. Old school games as well. Loads of pinball and stuff too, which is great.
I think my aim in my like bucket list is to have my own pinball machine. I think
I'd love to have like an old school arcade sort of thing, and a pinball machine. There's something about it. It's weird. It's like, it's very analog. It is analog, but it's just sort of, you know, it is analog, but you know, it's just, there's something about it. It's, you know, you can see.
It's very tactile. Yeah. It's very tactile.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things, isn't it? It's like there's almost a method to it. It's that feel.
Yeah, it can be
feel
very
of
frustrating.
pulling the thing back. It
can be very frustrating.
I'm doing this. I don't know if you can see it. I'm just like playing pinball in the air here.
Obviously, you're running. You mentioned conventions, and you're now running Edgelit. I mean, do you go to many conventions? You mentioned the crime convention just last weekend.
Yeah, I went to Capital Crime last weekend, which was in Battersea Park. It was really good. Lots of great crime authors there. I go to Fantasy Con quite a lot.
Did you make it to? Was it weekend before last? Was that Fantasy Con, or was it before?
That was the one in Heathrow, wasn't it? No, yeah. The last convention I went to was the one that Paul Kane and Marie did in Scarborough.
Oh yeah.
When was that? Was that earlier this year?
No.
Genuinely have lost track of time.
I made it to Fantasy Con last year when it was in Birmingham.
Right. In that case, it was what used to be StokerCon. I think was the one in Scarborough.
Okay. How come it was used to be StokerCon?
ChillerCon, is it now? Maybe.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I go to so many that I just like. Well, it's because I go to see my friends basically. Because my I can't remember whether I told you already, but my way into horror and this kind of genre was when my husband and I moved to a little town called Bradford-on-Avon, which is just outside of Bath.
Yeah.
And my dad had been helping us move in, and we were sat having a pizza like the first night we'd moved in. And we got, have you seen any good films recently? And my dad said, oh, I saw a film called The Awakening. And I was like, oh, that sounds good. So I Googled it, and I was like, oh, it's written by the guy who wrote Ghostwatch, which I remember very vividly watching. When was it, 93?
Yeah,
it came out.
Yeah.
Vividly remember watching that with my dad, and him convincing me it was real, even though he knew it wasn't, because he's an asshole like that. But and then he let me stay up and watch the young ones afterwards, though, so I didn't have nightmares. So that was quite nice. But so we moved into this house, and then the next day I think we just like walking down the street and met our neighbours, who is Steve Volk. So it was
Nice.
like the weirdest little coincidence that we'd had that conversation the night before, and then lived next door to him, and just got really, really friendly with him and his wife Pat, because they're a lovely, lovely couple. And Steve invited us to his 60th, and
wow.
It was like a kind of last supper, just this table with Steve in the middle, and like Mark Morris and Tim Lebbon, Gary McMahon, all these people just kind of spreading out. And as I say, they're all just such a lovely bunch that it just, we would just go to events to hang out with them, because it was so cool to get them all in one place. And so that's genuinely how I got into Edgelit, I guess, because I was like, well, I live in Derby. I worked at Waterstones for like 10 years, so 4 years in Derby and 5 years in Bath, or something like that. And so it was just seemed to make sense.
Okay.
I go to I'm really revealing too much about myself now. I go to the TV show Supernatural.
Yes.
Yep.
I have been to several of those conventions.
Oh, right.
Well.
I got a friend that went to Razor goes there as well.
Yeah, we're Facebook friends. I don't think we've met in person, right. But I did see that she was at the one in Birmingham last weekend.
Yeah. I mean, for a TV show that finished several years ago, it's still going incredibly strong amongst the fans, which I find absolutely fascinating.
It's an interesting fandom. They are quite intense.
What? Nerds being intense? Lies.
I think the thing is that
Lies.
I like the TV show. I mean, the TV show is great, but one of the actors in it has a band, and I really like the band. And the band never play in the UK, so the only time you ever get to see them is at conventions. So I find myself going to more Supernatural conventions than I would.
What's the band
usually.
called? What's the band called?
They're called Loud and Swain. They're I think it's Matthew Modine character in, I can't remember what the film's called, but they're really good. They're very much my musical taste. They're very I like REM, I like Crowded House, I like stuff that's simple to listen to, it's got lovely melodies, nice lyrics, that kind of thing. So I just I travel to those things more than I should do, purely to see a band.
I'm going to admit something here, and Matt's probably going to shout at me again, but I've never ever watched Supernatural.
I'm gonna agree. I have never watched Supernatural either.
I mean, I missed it when it was first aired at the time.
I mean, you've only got 15 years to catch up on.
Exactly, that's it. That's a massive time scene to start watching a TV series, to be fair. And it's like, there's so much good stuff out there right now. I just don't have the time to dedicate to watching entirely new 15-season long.
Well, it's all right, Pete. It's okay, because we established last week that all you need to do, all you need to do, Holly, is and get this. This is how you cut down your TV time in half. And what you do is you go to the last 2 episodes of a series, you watch those, and that's it. That's done, and then you move on.
Okay. Well, I would recommend not doing that with Supernatural, because the finale is terrible.
Pete, we were talking about Cobra Kai last week, and he's just like, just watch the last couple of episodes in the series and then move on. I was like, you what? You do what?
You miss out all the pointless character drama that was through dumb decisions, and cuts through still to the efficiency. You go straight to the meat of the season arc, which is the finale. Done, sorted. And I will admit, the choreography is fantastic.
Oh God, yeah. Still can't get my head around it, man. At all. It just boggles my brain.
I'm a bad, rude person. I know. I apologize for nothing.
With Supernatural, you'd probably have to watch the finale of every season, wouldn't you, rather than just go straight to the series finale?
Oh yeah,
he
does each series, like that's what he said.
Right, okay,
so it's each series he goes to the last. So
that's not quite as bad.
Yeah, it cuts out time. The only time I would sort of maybe do that is like when The Walking Dead just got so formulaic and boring towards, you know, I don't even know, is it even ending? Has it even ended now? I don't know. I give up basically just. I'd given up the series before Carl died, basically, and I was just like, at that point in time, I was literally just watching the first episode, the middle episode for the season, the sort of mid-season finale, and then the last episode, because I was just like, I am just done with all this sort of nonsense they have going on, and I don't care about. And so,
it sounds like the kind of approach you could take to something like Lost. Just skip to the end.
The first season was fantastic, and then it was the law of diminishing returns from that point on.
I think we watched it for the first 2 seasons because I think in the halls I had Sky or something, we could watch it. Or no, was it on Channel 4 and then it moved to Sky? I can't remember exactly what happened. But anyway, we were, I think it moved from Channel 4 to Sky 1, I think, and we didn't have Sky, so we stopped watching it. But my mum and my brother and sister went back in Northern Ireland, still had it, and so they were watching it, and I just got the impression that it just didn't age very well. It was sort of kind of as it went on, it just got a bit more sort of, you know.
Yeah. They just kept trying to cram in more and more mystery without kind of coming up with a cohesive story. And then we'd all been saying, well, could it be this? I mean, I assume you both watched the ending of Lost.
I've not seen it, but I know what happens.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're good. Well, basically, everyone's going, it's this, isn't it? And the writer's going, no, it's not that. And he gets to the end of Lost, he goes, it was this. It was. We called it 5 years ago, and despite them saying no, it's not this, it was.
Yeah. What
was the one? Was it Pretty Little Liars or something where the audience just guessed what happened, so they had to rewrite it?
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. It's just.
I mean, what are you watching at the moment, anyway, Holly?
Very little, to be honest. Life at the moment is work, food, sleep.
Yeah.
But I watch a lot of stuff on. I love quiz shows, so I've been watching Only Connect. I've been catching up on that. Waiting to watch Ghosts. My husband won't let me watch it without him. You know, the one from the Horrible Histories.
Oh yeah.
Cast. So good, so funny, so warm, so sweet, and a bit creepy, which is nice. I'm trying to think, what else have I been looking for? Taskmaster.
Oh, Taskmaster's good.
Okay.
So nothing that takes a lot of watching, really, just kind of light fluff. I don't think I've not actively watched a TV series probably since Supernatural finished.
Oh wow!
So you're not on the Game of Thrones wagon or anything like that?
Then, no. I mean, I want to watch Game of Thrones, but I'm such a huge Pedro Pascal fan that I don't think I can get through his episodes. I know what happens, not watching it.
Yeah. Have you read the books? I suppose you haven't read the books.
I haven't. No. It was one of those things, like they were everywhere when I was working at Waterstones, and always kind of in my periphery, but just one of those things where I thought, I'll get around to reading them, and then just never did. Yeah,
a part of me, because I love them. I read them all, but and I read them all before the series sort of came out. But because he hasn't finished it yet, it's sort of like
he's never going to finish them, Matt.
It's just leaving a very bitter taste in my mouth, because it's just like he's technically got two. Well, you got the Winds of Winter, a Dream of Spring, and a Song of Summer. I think there's technically meant to be 3 books come, and it's just like it was what 2011, I think, was the Dance for Dragons. And so you're like 11 years in between each book, and it's just like dude's going to be dead before he finishes these, and it's just going to be so annoying.
I think that's another reason I don't watch a lot of TV, because I don't like waiting for next installment. So I wait until a series is finished and then watch it, just like marathon it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is like, so my boss is really good at sort of getting me into sort of kind of books and things like that. So, but he's sort of got me into them after like a lot of the sort of the Joe Abercrombie, the First Law saga. So there's 9 books, and I listen to the audiobooks and stuff because I can do other things and sort of kind of do it. So I do a lot of the audiobooks and stuff. So I went through like 9 of those, which were awesome. And it was good because I literally could move from one to the next and carry on. It was the same with is it Dan Pierce? The Red Rising books and stuff. Again, like there's one more to come out, but it was just I was able to listen to the next one to the next one to the next one and stuff, so I didn't have to wait around for what's happening in this one, what's happening in this one and stuff. So yeah, I understand that completely.
I do have to say I have watched stuff. Obviously, I've watched all the Star Wars and Marvel series.
Well, okay, we're gonna have to ask you.
I say all of them.
Yeah,
I'm a bit behind on Star Wars. Haven't seen Obi-Wan or Andor yet, but I will.
Obi-Wan's okay. Obi-Wan's okay. I haven't seen Andor yet. I will fight anybody who doesn't agree that Rogue One is the best Star Wars film that's ever been made. But
Empire.
I was going to say Rogue One's surely the 3rd best.
No, it's definitely the first. I wrote and I did a video for it on our YouTube, saying Rogue One better than Empire and stuff. And I love The Empire Strikes Back. I love it.
That's fighting talk.
Yeah, exactly. But Rogue One is the best Star Wars film that has ever been made.
It's a very good film, Matt. We have to agree to disagree that you are wrong.
No.
What do you think of the Marvel shows so far? Because I mean, I find them very interesting. They've all been kind of very much different takes on the MCU itself. And I mean, do you have a preference?
I thought Moon Knight was astounding. I really enjoyed that.
Okay.
I think it was the best of them.
Wow.
I preferred it to WandaVision, which a lot of people, think is insane. But I thought WandaVision was great. I really liked Hawkeye. I thought it was just
I did,
sweet and warm and funny. But I think Moon Knight was the one that really stood out for me. And he should have gotten a lot of awards for that.
Yeah, I really liked Hawkeye because basically it was the MCU doing Die Hard, a Christmas. But I mean, I really liked the Falcon and Winter Soldier because it was essentially a political thriller. Yeah,
it was underrated, definitely. It seems to have just kind of gotten lost amongst everything else. But it was, I thought US Agent, or whatever he's going to be called, was a kind of great villain, presumably come anti-hero if he's going to be in Thunderbolts or
Thunderbolts. So. Yeah. I can see that. I like the way they kind of contrasted Captain America with US Agent. But the fact, there's that scene in Captain America, Winter Soldier, where Steve Rogers kind of slams his shield down on Tony Stark and goes through the arc reactor. But we get that's very much the same shot in Falcon the Winter Soldier when he just cuts the guy's head off. And I thought it was just so wonderful, an image is worth 1,000 words.
Yeah.
And that spoke you so much about his character.
No, definitely. It's
What are you thinking about She-Hulk?
I haven't seen She-Hulk yet.
It's fun. It's fun.
I've been away quite a lot recently, so I just need a few days at home to catch up on everything. But it looks terrible, but in a good way.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
It is. It's sort of kind of got this sort of old school, I don't know, late 90s, 2000s sort of kind of feeling.
Field style.
Yeah. It's sort of, and I don't think it's as bad as people are sort of making out to be and stuff. I think, from what I understand, it ties in with the comics quite well as well and stuff. So, I don't.
It's very fun. It's very light, but it does take itself seriously. And there's wonderful moments where it kind of breaks the fourth wall, and there's talk directly to the to the viewers, and it's very female centric, female empowerment. And there's a fantastic line in the first episode where Bruce Banner goes, the triggers are fear and anger. And the movie taught is that's a baseline for all women everywhere, and it's that's encapsulating the series in a piece of dialogue. That's it.
Yeah.
No, I saw somebody post that on Facebook, and I just that's a great line.
Yeah, like with all the shows, I enjoy the writing. There's some really great writers there that coming up with some stellar dialogue and just it's stories really.
Well, we got Deadpool and Deadpool 3 with
Wolverine.
with Wolverine and stuff. Yeah,
so excited.
Yeah, so that's been a long time coming, and I'll be interested where they go from it, where they go with it and stuff.
Because it's technically bringing Deadpool and Wolverine to the MCU, isn't it? It's their first.
Is it definitely going to be an MCU film?
Well, apparently it is, because he mentioned it being the MCU, and I think they're going to try and tie him into the MCU. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Why they haven't already, I don't understand, because he's such
rights.
It's
so
Fox,
have the
isn't
rights.
It? Fox owns
Fox.
Deadpool.
Fox. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, they've obviously seen. I reckon they will, because they've seen how well Sony have done with Spider-Man in the MCU and stuff. So it's well, if we sort of kind of get a bit of that cash cow, let's do that as well.
Disney own Fox now, don't they? So
yes, they do.
They can probably do whatever they want with it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's probably why. So yeah, they can.
I hope it's not too dumbed down, too sanitized though. I think.
Oh yeah, it needs to be.
Deadpool needs to be Deadpool.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
I could very much see the Deadpool actor whose name escaped me.
Ryan Reynolds.
Thank you. Ryan Reynolds was literally walking away if they did not let him be himself. Really.
I mean, if you've seen Detective Pikachu, it's essentially Deadpool as Pikachu.
Yeah,
I've seen clips of it. Yeah, I've never actually watched it.
It's actually good fun. I'm not a massive Pokemon sort of guy, but I actually quite enjoyed that film. It was quite good.
It was really funny.
Yeah, quite good. But yeah, I've been watching the on Disney Plus the Wrexham, Welcome to Wrexham, his football, and I'm not a sports guy whatsoever, but it's actually a very good documentary and stuff. It's just how obviously they bought the football team. And I saw all the stuff on TikTok as it was going along. So, yeah, it's quite interesting to watch, to see the sort of kind of trials and tribulations that they have sort of running a football team.
My friend said it was like a real life Ted Lasso.
Yeah,
so I thought that's a stamp of approval for me.
Yeah. And again, I'm not a sporty type guy. I go sports. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. So yeah. Right. Got about an hour and 10, so I think we're going to mosey on to our final section, which is our pop quiz section. As Pete sort of alluded to at the start, we have sort of this thing we do now where we name a franchise, and then you have 60 seconds to try and guess the character from that franchise. Don't do it, Pete, and be super obscure and nobody can get it, because it just doesn't. It's no fun because people are just going. So you need to think of one. So you need to tell us a franchise, and then we will guess who the character is, and then we will do one for yourselves for everyone as well. So we'll start with Pete because he's an old hand at this. Nothing too obscure, please, Pete. And I will get my stopwatch out. And we'll do this. So stopwatch. Okay. So what is it, Pete? What are we going for?
MCU.
Okay, so Marvel, 60 seconds. Go. Do they have their own film?
No.
Do they have their own TV series?
No.
Are they a villain?
No.
Are they a good guy?
Yes.
Are they in a film?
Yes.
Are they in a TV series?
Yes.
Ooh. Are they a sidekick?
Yes.
Are they in... it's not Brody, is it? It's not Brody, is it?
Nope.
Oh. Are they All right, in the Iron Man films.
Yes.
Oh, it's not Coulson, is it? Is it Coulson from
No.
Oh, fuck.
I can't remember his name.
So in the Iron Man films, sidekick.
What's the little kid in Iron Man 3? What's he
Nope.
called? Happy. Is it Happy?
Nope.
Okay. Right, 60 seconds is done. One more question each, and then we'll have a guess. Okay, so we've got in the films and in his series, in the Iron Man films.
Oh.
So let's see what series links in with the Iron Man films. Oh God, I can't think of his films, the series of in the Iron Man films.
I can think of characters in Iron Man, but I can't think of, like, Pepper's not in any TV series, is she?
Nope.
Okay, are they in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Yes.
Is it? And they're not a bad guy, so it can't be. What's his name? Okay. Sidekick. And they're in the Iron Man films. So it's going to be Civil War.
Yep.
So that's going to be from Civil War because that's where the tie-in is. So,
I mean, is it Falcon?
Nope.
God, I don't
But
know.
you're close.
Well, are we redeeming Bucky Barnes of all sins? He's not a villain anymore.
No, what is it then?
Colonel James Rhodes.
Yeah,
War Machine. Because he appeared in Falcon and the Winter.
Damn you, Rhodey. Yeah, I'd forgotten he was in Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's like that cameo, isn't it?
Scene where he meets the Falcon, but yeah.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that. That's.
Did I not say Brody?
His name's Rhodes. Not you call him Brody.
Oh yeah,
I thought you meant the guy from Jaws.
Oh yeah, who was I thinking of Brody? I don't know where I got Brody from. Is there?
I have no idea. We didn't know Brody.
Yeah, I was thinking.
That'll be why we were both smiling and nodding, going, "Who's he talking about?"
Yeah, I don't. Oh God, that's the character I was thinking of, but I don't even know where I got Brody from. Where's Brody? Where have I got that from? I have no idea. Rhodes.
We get names wrong a lot.
Yeah. Oh God.
Just saying.
Yeah. I have no idea. In my mind, I was like,
and I didn't even think of Rhodey. So.
Brody. Oh God. Yeah. I have no idea. Too much mall rats. Too much. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. So that's that one. Okay. I will go then. I'm going to go for. So you like your Star Wars, do you? Let's do Star Wars then, shall we? Let me just think. Let me just think of a character quickly. I'm going to go for it's gonna be an easy one, but no, it's gotta be slightly less obvious. I'm gonna go for we had him last time, so I can't go there. Well, I've had him as well. Oh God. Okay, yeah, all right, okay, I've got one. All right, so Star Wars, 60 seconds, go.
Original trilogy?
Yes.
Are there in any TV series?
No.
Okay. Are they in A New Hope?
No.
Empire Strikes
villain?
They are in Empire Strikes Back, yes.
Are they a hero?
They are not a hero.
Are they in Return of the Jedi?
Is he in Return of the... I don't think so, no.
Okay. Are they Imperial?
They are Imperial, yes.
Okay. Are they a Sith?
They are not a Sith.
Okay. Do they work in the Imperial Navy?
No, they're not Imperial Navy.
Is he a general?
He is a general. Last question.
I'm just letting you roll with this one.
No, you go ahead.
So you got one
genuinely-
question. You got one question each, and then you can have a guess. That's it.
I've just got complete brain farts. So
Does he pilot an AT-AT?
He does pilot an AT-AT.
I've interviewed him.
Yeah, Julian Glover. Julian Glover is the.
Thank you. Yes, that's him.
What's the character called?
I have no clue.
I thought I could draw him for you or something. I don't know.
General Veers.
Thank
Oh
you.
yes.
Yeah, General Veers. Yeah. Okay.
He's a lovely guy as well.
Yeah,
Really is a lovely guy.
Yeah. So there you go. Okay. So one from you, Holly.
Well, I was going to go obscure Star Wars, but
You can go obscure Star Wars as long as you don't go old school canon and stuff, because my knowledge of old school stuff is sort of ish. But if you go films, I think I could probably. Or are you going for, if you're going for Old Republic stuff, I know most of the Darths. So if you're going for one of the Darths like Darth Raven or Darth Bane or something like that.
Okay, well, let's make it easy. Yes, I'm going obscure Star Wars.
Okay.
Okay. Obscure Star Wars.
Well, I think you'll probably guess it quite quickly. So.
Okay.
We'll see.
60 seconds starting now. Okay, so are we talking, is there a film?
No.
They're not in the films. Is it computer games?
Yes.
Okay. Is it in the Knights of the Old Republic?
Yes.
Is it Darth Raven?
No, that would be a little bit too obvious.
Are they part of the core group in Knights of the Republic? Are they human? Oid.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Garth and Nassie.
Yes, Carl.
30 seconds. There you go.
My space boyfriend.
Your big boyfriend.
Okay, cool.
He was just the first person I could think of after talking about Old Republic earlier.
I like the assassin droid. He was such a fun character.
So funny. Just, oh God, yes. The script they wrote for him, that they must have just been howling while they were writing it.
Yeah, you can see they were having a lot of fun with that character.
Okay, cool. Right, we'll leave it there. It's been an absolute pleasure. Edgelit, when is it set for?
July the 8th next year.
Okay, cool. July the 8th of 2023. In the what's the name of the place in
Quad on the Market Square in Derby. We've got social channels. There's nothing on them at the moment because I haven't had anything to announce, but excuse me, updates will be going on social. You can get tickets from Quad now if you're already interested in the names I've given you as guests. Then
brilliant.
Well, tomorrow I'm going to go down to Quad and pick up my tickets.
Fabulous. I will see you there. Not
Definitely.
at Quad tomorrow. I mean next year. I'm not just going to wait outside.
Here's your tickets. You know, this is a personal service right here. Yeah. Okay, well, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. By all means, come back on when you've got a bit more information.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, not a problem.
Been a pleasure.
For myself, I've been Matt Geary. With me has been Peter Ray Allison.
Good night, everyone.
And our guest, Holly Blades.
Thank you and good night.
Bye.